If Kim Ju-ae is named successor, some analysts believe Kim Yo-jong might stage a coup if Kim Jong-un dies. This is shocking. Let's examine this closely today. The National Intelligence Service reports that Kim Jong-un has been gradually promoting Kim Ju-ae as his successor, emphasizing her position as second in protocol since late last year. The National Intelligence Service said the Ninth Party Congress will be held soon and will closely watch if Kim Ju-ae attends, her protocol status, use of symbolic language or real name, and any signs of succession in party regulations. North Korea appears focused on promoting Kim Ju-ae. Recently, she attended the ceremony marking the completion of 50,000 homes in Pyongyang. At this time, she hugged and interacted directly with the residents, creating an unusual scene. It's very unusual for Kim Ju-ae to be shown interacting with ordinary citizens rather than Kim Jong-un or high-ranking party officials. As revealed by the National Intelligence Service, it seems that the succession structure has been set for Kim Ju-ae. The problem is, there is analysis suggesting that Kim Ju-ae could face strong checks from Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong. According to a report by the British daily The Telegraph, if Kim Yo-jong believes she has a chance to become the supreme leader, she will not hesitate to seize it. From Kim Yo-jong's perspective, there is no reason to hold back her political ambitions, so analysts believe there is a high possibility of a power struggle. This information was also mentioned by Professor Na Jong-il, a former first deputy director of the National Intelligence Service and a distinguished professor at Dongguk University, in an interview with The Telegraph. If Kim Jong-un dies or becomes unable to lead due to poor health, North Korea's power structure will be immediately shaken. And depending on who fills that vacancy first, North Korea could either move toward regime stability or, on the contrary, face the possibility of a sudden and rapid upheaval. Especially recently, there are even predictions that Kim Yo-jong might try to seize power preemptively to prevent Kim Ju-ae from solidifying her succession. There are reasons why this doesn't seem like mere speculation. That's because the history of power succession in North Korea itself has been marked by internal purges and fierce loyalty competitions driven by the desire to survive. Even in the early days when Kim Il-sung was consolidating his power, there were purges of opposing factions. Kim Jong-il also eliminated rival forces as he established himself as successor, strengthening his rule through fear. Kim Jong-un did the same. The purge of Jang Song-taek, the successive replacement of high-ranking military officials, and the execution of senior cadres all occurred one after another, making the process of consolidating power publicly visible. People often say North Korea's supreme leader role isn't inherited peacefully, but secured through bloodshed. This time, though, it seems different, doesn't it? As Kim Ju-hue repeatedly appears at official events, there is speculation about her being a possible successor. However, the problem is that Kim Ju-hue still has no political base at all. She is young, lacks connections in the Workers' Party or military, and can't lead a power struggle alone. If Kim Jong-un is suddenly incapacitated, Kim Ju-hue could instantly require protection. On the other hand, Kim Yo-jong has already played a real role at the core of power. Kim Yo-jong is not just Kim Jong-un's younger sister, is she? She has overseen inter-Korean policy coordination and external messaging in North Korea, with ties to the military, party groups, and leaderships. Kim Yo-jong has repeatedly threatened South Korea and the United States in official North Korean statements. What's more important is that Kim Yo-jong already has experience in exercising power. If Kim Ju-ae is a symbolic figure, Kim Yo-jong is a practical power holder. When Kim Jong-un collapses or dies, North Korean elites will first consider who can run the regime. At that point, Kim Yo-jong will likely become the key to ensuring state continuity. Especially within the Workers' Party, if the successor is a minor or lacks political experience, it is entirely possible that a scenario could unfold where a regency or collective leadership system is used as a justification for a real power holder to emerge separately. That's why Kim Yo-jong is seen as the top candidate to become the real power holder. Kim Yo-jong could present the justification of protecting Kim Ju-hue to the military and party officials, while in reality she could concentrate power in her own hands. Kim Jong-un's incapacitation creates instability that could let Kim Yo-jong take control instead of Kim Ju-hue. So why is Kim Jong-un speeding up the succession process? The main reason cited is Kim Jong-un's health issues. Kim Jong-un is known to be around 170 cm tall, but his weight is said to be around 140 kg. At this level, he is already at the stage of severe obesity, and his body is in a condition where it could send out warning signals at any time. On top of that, it is reported that he smokes quite heavily as well. The issue is these lifestyle habits have significantly worsened his cardiovascular diseases. Kim Jong-un has a family history of high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. Kim Jong-il also had heart and cerebrovascular issues, making it likely Kim Jong-un inherited these risks. Stress is another key factor. Kim Jong-un must maintain his regime through fear and loyalty contests, while facing sanctions, economic collapse, and growing public unrest. Such conditions naturally put immense pressure on a leader. In fact, there are even reports that Kim Jong-un cannot sleep without sleeping pills. If this is true, it could mean that both his body and mind are already beyond normal levels. Dependence on sleeping pills can increase both cardiovascular problems and mental instability, and there is a high risk that it could lead to a sudden deterioration in health. Kim Jong-un likely knows better than anyone that he could lose power at any time. North Korea's system ensures a power struggle if there's ever a leadership vacuum. From Kim Jong-un's perspective, unless he formalizes the succession structure and gets the elites to align themselves in advance while he is still alive, there is inevitably a fear that the regime could collapse after his death. That's why some analysts suggest that Kim Joo-ae is repeatedly appearing at public events, and that by hinting at the possibility of succession internally, they are encouraging a competition of loyalty. And even if Kim Yo-jong gives up on becoming the supreme leader, the path that Kim Joo-ae has to walk is not going to be an easy one. As I've mentioned before, North Korea is a very conservative society. It's a society where people can't imagine a woman in a significant role. But the fact that the supreme leader could be a woman is a big issue. There's doubt about whether key officials would be able to follow and obey a woman giving them orders and instructions. Since Kim Jong-un's regime, several women like Kim Yo-jong, Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee, and Protocol Head Hyun Sung-wol have gained high-ranking positions, so some believe resistance may be lower. There are still concerns about whether the power succession structure can continue stably. Because of this, some predict that Kim Joo-ae, once she becomes the supreme leader, could actually become an even more formidable figure than Kim Jong-un. According to a report by Japan's Kansai Television, it is pointed out that Kim Joo-ae has likely grown up witnessing some of the most brutal scenes of North Korean power up close since childhood. If a child who has repeatedly witnessed Kim Jong-un publicly reprimanding military officials and watching or even executing those deemed lacking in loyalty inherits power, it is only natural that they might accept violence and fear as legitimate means of rule. In other words, for Kim Joo-ae, the very concept of political compromise or a more moderate rule may be unfamiliar, and the fact that Kim Joo-ae is a woman is also mentioned as a variable. North Korea remains male-dominated, and its military is conservative. In this setting, if a woman becomes supreme leader, it's even more important to assert that she shouldn't be underestimated. Some analysts believe she may assert her authority with more aggressive military actions or stronger rhetoric. If her power falters early on, it could cause a coup or loss of power, so there's strong incentive to project a powerful image from the start. In this process, inter-Korean relations could also become more dangerous, and if the Kim Joo-ae regime is launched, there is a high possibility that external enemies will be used more actively to strengthen internal unity. There could be repeated provocations against the South, missile test launches, and the creation of military tensions, and there is also the possibility that they will show a more blatant and aggressive attitude towards South Korea and the United States. Especially right after the power succession, the internal system is bound to be unstable, so it is often the case that they choose to bind internal loyalty through external conflicts. There are also predictions that large-scale purges could take place within North Korea. Kim Jong-un purged many officials early in his rule to consolidate power. Some believe if Kim Joo-ae rises to prominence, similar or harsher purges could happen again. When a young leader comes to power, it's common for regents or influential figures to emerge around them, but from Kim Joo-ae's perspective, those people become the most dangerous. That's why there is analysis suggesting that in the early days of power, she could strengthen her rule of fear by drastically replacing military and party officials or boldly eliminating factions whose loyalty is in question. For these reasons, concerns are rising that the Kim Joo-ae regime may adopt a more aggressive and extreme rule than Kim Jong-un. There are two main points to watch at this party congress. This 9th Party Congress is the first in 5 years since the 8th in 2021. As the Workers' Party's top decision-making body, delegates from all levels are now gathering in Pyongyang. On February 18th, they visited the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun to pay respects to Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Since the Politburo announced on February 8th that the 9th Party Congress would be at the end of February, it appears the Congress will happen in a few days. At this party Congress, significant changes to party rules and leadership selection are expected. First of all, Kim Jong-un put forward the theory of two hostile states. What this means is that, in the past, they still valued things like unification and the nation. But this time, North Korea simply argued that they should live separately, and that's exactly the theory of two hostile states. There's also interest in whether this theory of two hostile states will be institutionalized through a constitutional amendment. And the other thing is the succession process for Kim Joo-ae. Many experts have said that at this party congress, there could be an amendment to the party rules related to preparing Kim Joo-ae as the successor. The reason for this is as follows. Currently, Kim Joo-ae cannot join the North Korean Workers' Party. Kim Joo-ae was born in 2013, but joining the Workers' Party is only possible after the age of 18. Therefore, for now, it seems unlikely that Kim Joo-ae will be able to take on any position or important post. So if we check whether the Workers' Party regulations are being revised in a way that benefits Kim Joo-ae, we should be able to quickly confirm the succession structure involving Kim Joo-ae. First of all, according to South Korea's National Intelligence Service, with the Ninth Party Congress as a turning point, it is now believed that the process has moved beyond the succession training stage and entered the stage of preparing to appoint a successor. Regardless of whether Kim Joo-ae becomes leader, North Korea's power structure is expected to remain largely unchanged.